For so many years, you guys have been asking me if I could somehow ship you my trellis. I've had these trellises in my kitchen garden since I was gardening back in Houston, Texas. Since 2017, I gave myself these trellises as a birthday present. And I've been trying for the last 5 years to find a way to take this trellis, pack it up into a box, and ship it to your house. And it's finally happened. So I'm so excited to show you the new Nicole trellis that is finally in the Gardenary shop. So in this video, I want to show you how the trellis goes together, the dimensions of it, and a couple modifications that I've made to it since this first prototype came to my doorstep. So I'm going to take it apart and show you how to put it back together. But first, I want to show you the measurements because I know everybody's got to figure out if this trellis could fit into their space. So what we did to get this trellis is I actually took the exact Nicole trellis that's in my garden. It's named after me. And I took it apart, we sawed it apart and shipped it to the manufacturer and said, can you make us this exact trellis, but put it in a box so we can ship it to our friends? And they said, yeah, we can do that. So this is the first prototype. First, I'm going to tell you the main change we've made. When they shipped it to me, I noticed that this middle rung right here was not as thick as the outer rungs. And in my original Nicole trellis, that's not the case. These inside rungs are the same thickness as the outside. So that's a change that's already been made. So all the new trellises that are ordered will have a much thicker middle rung than this one does to make sure that you and me, we can be twins with our trellises. All right. So first off, let's talk about the most important part, and that is this side piece of the trellis. This is exactly 15 inches wide, and this is important because this is the amount of space you have to grow your vining plants. So I love this width because I can put one tomato on each side of the trellis on both sides. So I can plant 4 tomato plants on this one side because I can give each one about 18 inches away from one another and then still train the plants to go up the trellis this way. So 15 inches wide, so that means inside your bed, it's just going to take up about 15 inches of space along the edge of your raised bed if you're connecting beds with it. Next, let me show you the height. So I'm going to go from the very top of the bed all the way down to the ground, and it is 88 inches. So from top to bottom, the whole trellis is 88 inches. So I did that because I like to grow indeterminate vines on this trellis, like tomatoes, pole beans, and cucumbers. And I wanted them to be much taller than just 6 feet tall. So with 88 inches, what's the math there? It's like 7.5 feet tall, something like that. So this is going to give your vines plenty of vertical space to grow to their maximum potential. All right, the next measurement I want to tell you about is the width between the trellis, the 2 trellis sides, and this is important to know how wide your pathway should be between your beds. So I'm going to loop that there. Hopefully it'll stay, and slide it over here. So it is just at 67 inches wide. So on the interior, if you have the little things, it's more like 66 inches. Let me go interior to interior because that's what matters more. It's actually like 65 inches. So there's 65 inches between from one side to the next. So that means your pathway in between your beds needs to be, what is that? 5 feet. It could be as wide as about 5 feet, and you'll still have room for the arch trellis to go on either side. So you can have a pathway that's 5 feet wide and still have plenty of space for your trellis to fit in. Now, if your pathway is more like 3 feet wide, that's okay. You can have a 3 foot wide bed, and then you'll just push your trellis a little bit deeper into your beds. That's what I do. You can see with my Nicole trellis, I'm not right on the edge of the bed. I'm actually a little bit outside of it. Now, before I take it apart, I want to answer the question of how strong is the trellis. We get a lot of questions like, can I grow perennials like a climbing rose on this trellis? You know, is this thing going to hold up? So the trellis comes with stakes. I'm going to show you those that go into the ground. But the way I use it is I put it into raised beds and bury it about 1 foot deep into the bed. So I would end up putting it down into my raised bed, about this deep if I don't want to use the stakes. That still leaves me over 6 feet of vertical growing space on the trellis, and that much soil holding this trellis all the width of it really will make sure that it stays really nice and secure. But this one is only installed with the stakes, and I want to show you how strong it is. So I weigh about 135 pounds. So I think you're going to be okay unless your plants are a little bit heavier. But you can see if I push it too hard, it will rock a little bit, but only because it's not buried under more soil. So you can bury it as deep as you need to, and the deeper you do, the more secure it's going to be. All right, so now we're going to take it apart to put it back together again. This trellis comes with no screws or like little bolts or anything. It literally just slides together. So it's like a tubular. It's tubular, man. I know that was, sorry, I just dated myself. What was that called? Nate and Ted? Ted and Ned? Anyway. All right, so it's 4 pieces. This is one piece, and you can see how the tubes slide into one another. This is powder coated steel. It is hollow, but it's very strong. The whole trellis probably weighs about 75 pounds, I would guess. So here's the other side. So now I'm going to keep my foot on the base and slide the other arch out like that. So that's the second piece. And then now I'm going to see if I can pull these out of the stakes. So this is the base piece, and I'm going to take the other one. So to take it out, all I have to do is push down on the stakes and slide it out. So this trellis is going to rust a little bit over time. It's made of steel and it's outdoors, so a little bit of rust is going to be natural, but it is powder coated, so it's made to last for many, many, many years. It's made of the same material that my trellises are made out of, and I've had those for, like I said, over 5 years. All right, so now I'm going to put it back together. Before I do that, I just want to show you what the stakes look like. So these stakes you're only going to use if you want to do your trellis in ground. So that's what they're going to look like. Let me measure them for you. So this is like 14 inches. All right, let me see if I can get it back down in the right spot. It took me, I did get my husband to help me put this in. I was able to put the whole trellis together by myself in like 15 minutes. So proud of myself. But I did need some help to put it in the garden, mostly just to get it centered in place and set up correctly. All right, so the one you get is going to have this metal tube. It's going to be the same in the center, but mine, like I told you, is a little bit thinner. So I'm just going to slide this down onto the tubes, and it's kind of like a lock and key. So that side's in. Now I'm going to put the other side in. Same deal. So the thin pieces stay up and the thick open pieces go in the bottom. All right, just like that. Now the kind of tricky part is putting the arches together. So I'm gonna put this one on first so you can see the hollow tubes. They're gonna slide right on top of this one in a second. Line it up. This is when having someone help you is great. All right, so I've got that side in. Now this is a tricky piece because I need to get this. I was kind of checking my whereabouts here. I'm going to get this in here and then slide it in. So let's see how we go. Do this piece first. When I put this together inside, at this point I actually laid it on the ground to slide it together. So can you see this? It's a little tedious. Instead that amazing? All of us can put this together, right? You don't have to have any tool. You don't have to know how to put anything like construction wise. And look how strong it is. I mean, just those pieces going together and it all stays. And it means less rust. So if you've ever put together some kind of kit with bolts and screws, it's all those little connections where you have the breakdown of the steel. So, you know, when you connect the pieces, all those little connection points is where the weakness comes from. So this thing is just, it's so fun and so amazing, and I cannot wait to send it to you. So here's the deal. I pre-ordered 200 trellises, and they're coming to the gardenary shop supposedly in March. Hopefully everything's going to ship out in March. There's only 200 of them for this first round, and a lot of them have already been ordered. I don't know when you're going to be watching this video, but at the time of making this video, a good number of them are already spoken for. So if you want one, head to the gardenary shop and place your order, and they're going to be shipping out in spring of 2022. And if you're watching this a long time in the future, then hopefully they're all sitting in the shop ready to come your way. But I want to thank you so much for your support over the years. Literally, it's you asking questions and liking and commenting posts that I've done and all these gardens over the years that's made it possible for us to create our very own trellis design that we can put in a box and send to your doorstep. And it's a dream come true. So thank you so much. Love you. And we can twin with our trellises very soon. Thanks for watching.